What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So we got the Dog Days summer event returning tomorrow, but there's actually a secret hidden event in Warframe this week. We got the best Stela farm basically ever, and this will be a FOMO farm. This does go away in about 4 or 5 days as a release of this video. So we'll be showing some strategies and just basically a PSA if you want to get basically so much Stela you never need to farm ever again. We're talking about what Stela is used for and all that stuff too, so make sure yourself to channel daily Warframe video uploads, build videos, news videos, strategy guides, all that kind of stuff. You're in the right place for Warframe content. We'll have a guide on the Dog Days event probably on Thursday and an overview of the hotfix tomorrow. But first things first, we got the FOMO Stela farm available right now. Now, how do you do this? Why would you do this and everything in between? Well, first things first, Stela resource in Warframe is used to fuse Archon shards and combine Archon shards to make them stronger variants. We could turn a red shard into a orange shard, for example. We could turn a red normal shard into a red Tau shard, which increases the power of the strength buff it provides. The way you get Stela normally is not usually the most efficient method. We're usually blasting through an exterminate mission, just killing every enemy, and we're getting probably like about 50-ish Stela at the end. With the strategy today, you could expect to get multiple thousand Stela in like 20 minutes. And why is this the best of the best ever this week? Well, because the place that this special mission comes from is actually RNG. The special modifiers on this mission allow the Stela farm to be possible in this way, to this magnitude. And additionally, it got even better because the missions before this on the Elite Temple, Elite Deep Archimedia, are the quickest missions possible, with it being Exterminate and Alchemy. So let's go ahead and show what we're talking about here, and we're going to talk about strategy guides after I show you what we're even talking about in the first place. And yes, hilariously, Limbo meta if you want to go really, really crazy with this farm. So just putting it in perspective, though, I have about, looks like 40,000 Stela, I think, and we kind of mathed it out. If you want to fuse every shard for every frame in the game, 40,000 Stela is like more than enough. So I'd say your average Joe player is good at like 5,000 or 10,000 Stela. But if you do want to do this crazy strat, here's how you can start it. So first things first, requiring Kavia rank 5 to do this. You're looking for this mission right here, the Relentless Tide Assassination. Now, before we start, let's talk about what you can do to make this as easy as possible. First things first, you do not need to use any of your individual parameter like restrictions. We're going to be using the things we want to use because we're not going there for Archon shards. Okay, so the final mission, Assassination, Relentless Tide. The Fragmented Tide never stops attacking. Additionally, man, Necroloid never shuts up, huh? Additionally, it never stops spawning enemies either. So when we go to this mission and fight the final boss, enemies will drop Stela en masse, and they also spawn as fast as possible. There are current setups you can do with this. It's 1,000 kills per minute, okay? But yeah, the reason it's so good, Exterminate mission takes like 2 minutes, Alchemy mission takes like 5 minutes, and then the farm has begun, basically. So, 7-minute downtime, then you get to the boss fight. In previous farms for this, if you look at my old Stela guide from like 3 or 4 months ago, it was like survival, disruption, then the fight. So instead of 7 minutes in between, it was like 15 minutes in between. But yeah, don't put any of these modifiers on. You don't need to put any restrictions on yourself. As far as the loadouts and gear I recommend for this, we're going to be trying to actually keep the boss alive, hilariously. So, with that being said, how are you going to keep the boss alive? Well, maybe now you understand why Limbo is potentially going to be used in one of the strats. Now, my guide from 3 months ago is still good to go. And that guide, I recommended that players use Khora with a high-range Pilfering Strangledome augment build, which Pilfering Strangledome gives you more loot from kills, which is great here. Dante with just a normal Dante build, a high strength, powerful Dante build with Roar, preferably. And the other 2 frames were up to personal preference. It was going to be a DPS, though, either way. So I was telling people to use Sevagoth. If you look at my previous guide, double Sevagoth, Dante, Khora, it still works great. You'll still get over 1,000 Stela from this. But the problem with that is that Dante can actually kill the boss with his ghosts. So, we've gone a step further today. We've actually gone to the point where we can get 10,000 plus Stela in one run, and it's going to involve Limbo. Now, the strategy for this is it'll still involve Khora and Dante. They are still best in slot frames for this. And no, Necros is not good enough because Necros can only desecrate like 3 bodies per second, and we're doing 1,000 kills per minute. So yeah, that's not how that really works. But yeah, we've got Limbo and we got Site 09. Now, the reason we got Limbo and Site 09 is because Limbo can actually put the boss in the Rift, and it makes it where the boss cannot be damaged by weapons. So what we do is we put the boss in the rift, then we spam Zars or like any AoE gun around the boss. It's constantly spawning enemies, the loot's constantly getting doubled by Khora, and we're just pretty much good to go. So you want an AoE weapon spammer for this, you want to go with this strategy. Again, like I said, guys, the strategy guide from 3 months ago is still fine. I'll put that in the comment. I'll put that in the comments down below, the link to it. But yeah, if you want to fuse every Archon shard ever in like 2 or 3 missions, here you go. So let's go over all the builds for this stuff. If you want to replicate this, and remind, like I said, this will go away in like, what is it, like 5 days? So it is definitely FOMO if you miss out on this. And like I said too, the other methods of doing this are nowhere near as efficient. So this goes away on Sunday night. Alright, so let's start with the strategy guides right now. So as far as first things first, if you want to play Limbo, I'd recommend that you basically get people who are ready to farm for like an hour. The missions can take quite a while because basically you decide when the boss dies. Because no one can damage the boss as long as you are playing Limbo properly. They're not using abilities. So things like a damage boss through the rift, damage abilities, dog abilities, and dog attacks. Like so if you had like a dog, like a loose dog, basically put a elusive posture on your dog. If you have like frenzied posture, it will attack the boss. You don't want that to happen. So, yeah, big thing, make sure your companions are not attacking. Also, make sure you don't have any damage abilities active. So, Dante, do not cast that mini book. Dante's mini book will chunk the boss hard. And the longer the boss is fireable, the more Stela you can get. But again, like I said, don't go above 40,000. For Limbo's Archon shards, our #1 priority is making sure we don't drop our bubble for too long. And we also don't drop stasis for very long, because stasis will actually make enemies not explode as much. So we got 3 Tau shard casting speed, to make it we can recast our bubble and our stasis really, really quickly. Additionally, we've got 2 duration shards to make our abilities last longer, because it's really all about duration with this setup. We've also got energized munitions to give nearly infinite ammo on cast, so that's good for backup DPS with our Zar. As far as the build on Limbo, I didn't really put too much crazy effort into it, but basically we got power donation to give our Cyto 9 more damage, or whoever it is, if you're Sevagoth, your Sarah, whoever your DPS is, give them more power strength. Everything else is more range. We're going to cover the entire arena in a gigantic bubble of stunning and wasting time, basically. So, 31-second stasis duration, 63-second cataclysm duration. Cataclysmic continuum would have been cool, but it still makes the bubble shrink, even though the duration stays longer, so I wouldn't recommend it for this farm. Beyond that, I've just put on Arcane Aegis because there's nothing else really to put on there. I could have put on like Arcane Acceleration for a little more DPS. But multi-efficiency for some more duration, might as well. We're going to have Overguard from Dante anyway. More casting speed here just to make it really, really fast recast. And we don't need any strong ability because, again, we're going to have Dante keeping us alive. If we are going to be having a DPS, our weapon of choice here is the Zar. It's very spammable with energized munitions, and it also can do some pretty good electric procs to take care of the Murmur, who are weak to electric damage. So that's what I got. If you don't have a Riven, just put on Vigilante Vigilante Armaments, and it's going to be basically exactly the same thing. This Riven is not very good, so you could easily replace that Riven. For the pistols, doesn't really matter if I got the Aki Core equipped just for a little bit of laziness, with the build as follows. Corrosive Heat really was not even meant for this video, but it's equipped anyway. And the Predator movement speed, not really used much, but sprint speed and slide, parkour velocity, very good to go. As far as the companion, like I said, do not have the companion attack anything, because it will make the boss die, which you don't want if you want to farm a bunch of Stela. But yeah, retrieve technically could be helpful. An extra drop of loot every 10 seconds. Again, this is 1,000 kills per minute, so it's not going to really make that big of a difference, but if you had 3 or 4 of these, you could notice a little more extra Stela. Okay, so we've gone over Limbo. Time to move on to the next frame. So, like I said, guys, you don't have to run Limbo for this. It's just a new strategy. I want to make I want to let everyone know that this is a FOMO farm, but also that Limbo in this option is probably the best you can do for this. It's also probably the best use for Limbo too. Wasting time actually has a use right here. So, moving on to the next frame, we're going to move from Limbo, who is the CC person, to let's move on to like Cyto 9, actually. So Cyto 9 is going to be one of the options for DPS here, and what you're going to do is you're going to spam his Zar, just like Limbo's doing, but much, much better. So, as far as the build on Cyto 9, I've got electric shards, primary electric damage. Again, they're weak to electric damage, so this is great. And as far as the build, I took some inspiration from iStars on this one. Thank you, iStars, Grizz, XP80, Vizarachi, and Walter Frosch for farming this yesterday and helping me out with the video. But we got a bunch of casting speed on here and some efficiency, so we can spam our ammo pads and spam our Zar a lot. So, Nourish for viral damage we don't really need, but it's a little bit energy economy, and electric just to kill everything. So Arcane Rise, whenever you reload the gun, it gives it primary damage, and also Arcane Acceleration for more fire rate. Very, very good. You just basically spam the shots, and then just keep spamming the Zar over and over again, just blow up everything. And again, because we're using this, it will not damage the boss, because the boss will be in the Rift, and weapons don't work on the boss in the Rift. And for the Czar, it's really like similar to the other build, but yeah, this is Bane of Murmur on here. Hopefully we get the Prime version of this on Friday, but right now we have the normal version. So it's basically Electric Elementalist. Reminder: Center 9 will give guaranteed electric procs with this too. And we got Prime Firestorm for more AoE, magazine size and magnetic capacity, and just basically spam it up. So very good stuff there. And that's like one of the DPS options. I'd say Sevagoth is still good to go from before, so go watch my previous guide video for that build. Now, as far as Dante and Khora, really what Dante helmet you have is going to be up to what your team wants, but I'd say Roar is probably one of the best. So my Dante right now that would work for this is to be a bunch of casting speed, which is definitely overkill, but it's funny. And we've got the build as follows: just big power strength and decent range. So, but here's the big thing: if you're playing Dante, do not cast the mini book. I swear, if you cast the mini book, you're going to make the boss's health bar go down by like a huge chunk. And if your team is not organized for that, they're going to be probably a little bit annoyed with you. So just stick to double light verse and ulti. Double light verse and ulti is all you need to do if you're playing Dante for this cast Roar. You can even buff your Center 9 further with the Aphentis Spear Gun. The Aphentis Spear Gun will buff fire rate, reload speed, and other stuff too. Throw this on your Center 9, it will buff them up a lot. There's no need for a build on it. Just basically throw the Aphentis. Very, very good. You don't have to worry too much about the weapons on Dante. Just make sure that you're not using Dark Verse. And for the companion, again, just use the Chest of Cooper. I'll give you more loot. You just want to keep the damage on the boss to a minimum. And for the final frame here, Khora should, again, not be damaging the boss unless she's using a Czar to, like, DPS trash ads. So, for Khora, I just put on the shards. I usually use it in, like, change of shards for this, but power, strength, and crit damage. We've got Dispensary Khora. Reminder, Khora should not be getting any kills on the boss. You should not be Whip Clawing at all. I believe your Whip Claw will also damage the boss, too. So, pretty much just stand there and look good. Big range, so every enemy affected by the Strangledomes will give us more loot. And then make sure you got Pillbreak Strangledome here. You don't need Accumulating Whip Claw for this specific build, but I mean, I'm not going to like remove it just because. We got Pillbreak Strangledome, the important mod. Enemies held with the Strangledome have a 65% chance to drop additional loot. Additional Stela. This is the best. Like, again, this is why Necros is not good enough, because every enemy affected by the dome will have this, whereas Necros has to desecrate like one body at a time. And you can only do so many bodies per second. We're getting 1,000 kills per minute. You can see where this is kind of going. So, yeah, Khora's the best for this. Just go stack big range. Duration's going to be probably good, too, to save yourself a headache. So, yeah, maybe take off the Accumulating Whip Claw for more duration, because you will be in the mission for a while. Unfortunately, we don't have the best duration mods in this game, so maybe, I guess Constitution. It doesn't really sound the best, but you probably could do that for a little bit longer duration. As far as Arcanes, really, you're not going to be doing damage, so maybe throw on even more duration here with like Molt Efficiency. But either way, guys, that's going to be the Khora build. And big thing on Khora, make sure your Venari Prime is not attacking. Elusive posture, just like the other dogs. So that's going to be basically it for the video, guys. Hopefully it was fun and helpful to you. Again, this is going to go away in 5 days. So FOMO to the max, but also it's not that important. Oh yeah, one more thing too. Be careful when you're doing this. People have been crashing from this because we're getting so many kills. So keep that in mind, that you might want to like turn your graphics on or something like that. If you're playing this on like PS4, it might be a little bit rough. I expect 1,000 plus Stela in like 5 minutes. So I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully you enjoy this. We'll have a Dog Days guide tomorrow, or Dog Days guide Thursday, and then a hotfix video tomorrow. Take these guys. Peace.